that.
Welcome everyone to our weekly Facebook live show, Life Buildup, where we discuss your success, fulfillment, and balance. Another week, another episode. We're back again. Thank you so much for joining us, to our live viewers, and also to our recorded people that are going to be watching on a recording. Thank you for joining us. This is a weekly Facebook live show that we have every week. We're glad that you could make it. Here with Hassan again.
What's up, guys?
I'm your host Jawad. This week, guys, we're talking about, we have a resource, every single one of us, and it's the greatest resource all of us can have. It's time. And we're going to talk about how to make the most out of it. So we have an exciting episode. I'm just going to share the show a little bit.
What's up, guys? So glad you guys can join us. Really happy to be part of your life every Monday, 10 p.m. So today we're talking about how to make the most of your every minute, every second. If you think about it, you are your seconds, minutes, hours, days, years. That's who you are. That makes up your life. All of us have something that's absolutely common. Meaning, whether you are someone that's rich or poor, whether you are someone that's male, female, whatever ethnicity, whatever time period you grew up in, one thing that we all share is that we all got this 24 hours. That never changes.
Yep.
There is no discrimination in that.
168 hours a week.
Right. So
did you know that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I didn't do that calculation.
That's a lot of time.
So we all have that time, and what we are arguing tonight is that oftentimes we are missing out on the small, precious, in between moments.
You got to make every single minute count.
That's right. And I think we did a show where we did a whole bunch of studies, right? Or not studies, or rather, all these charts they have about how people spend their time, right?
Right.
So if you really look at it, they said that from age 1 to age 10, you're pretty much growing up, you're a child, right? And then obviously from 50 or 60 onwards, you're pretty much going to doctors.
Yeah.
Most of your appointments, you have all kind of physical issues. So you only have a certain amount of time in between, and then on that time, you're spending 10 hours to 10 years of your life sleeping.
Yeah.
If you look at them, even if you say
you have very little time when you look at
right.
your life that way.
Right.
People that have lived. If you look at studied their lives,
right.
They keep very very little time to do actually that you have control over.
That's true. I mean, if you're 10 hours. Just 10 years going and sleeping, and then they have some other certain amount of years eating, certain amount of years going to the bathroom. I mean, you just left with very little time, and then work. That work takes up about 10 years of your life.
Yeah.
My point being is that you don't realize, but in between, people are just sitting on the subway and just waiting.
Yeah.
Right. Or they're like scrolling through the same Facebook feed. Just going through Instagram page. Now, if that's
or if it's like a snow day, or if it's because of like some holiday, like they're off work,
right?
People see that as like relaxing time,
right?
And they're like, oh, okay, I don't have work today, so I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna binge on Netflix or watch YouTube videos,
right?
People don't value time.
What's more interesting is that even when people are chilling, right?
Yeah.
So people are, whatever, they're relaxing. It's not even a quality relaxing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, okay, if you're gonna relax, like, it should be something that you felt good about.
So basically, the quality of how you spend your time as well.
Right. I mean, so people say, I had an off day, and they're like, yeah, I was strolling, then I got up, then I don't know, I was just, and then like at the end, and it comes the work day next day, they're like, I don't know, man, it wasn't good. Like what happened?
Like it was an off day, and even after that, it wasn't good.
Right, and that off day was just somehow, I don't know what happened. Somehow, just time went away.
But you're supposed to make most of it.
Right,
and they didn't make the most
so
of it.
So even when you're chilling, even when you're relaxing, even when you're on vacation, you have to make most of that time.
Yeah.
Because you have very little time.
For sure. Just before we continue, though, guys. Those of you who are joining us live, you could please do me a favor. If you could please share the show on your timeline, I really, really appreciate it. And more people can join into the show. That's the biggest help that you can give us.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate that. And drop a like on the video as well.
Absolutely. So, the biggest thing is, I think, people don't realize. Imagine, all of us, right? Imagine you have the health meter.
Yeah.
In like video games, they have this meter that says like, after this you die.
What's your video game, dude?
I don't play video games, so that's a bad question.
I was thinking Mortal Kombat in my head.
Oh no, that's actually the classic stuff. When I used to play when I was younger. But
anyways, you're saying
any game, right? Have
Right,
this,
right.
right? You have this little meter, and you get shot a few times, whatever. Like it starts to go away, or whatever game you're playing, right? And you will also imagine that we all, in a way, have this timeline.
yeah.
Like this is not a depressing topic. This is not something to be sad about. Really, this honest. This
This should be aware.
There's one thing for certain: you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like that's certain.
Your bar is going to run out.
Right, your bar is gonna run out. Now, what that bar looks like for you, it depends on the person, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone's the same. If you believe in God, God determines whatever. But we all have a bar,
Yeah.
and that is gonna run out, right? And so if you looked at time as the most precious thing that you have, would you be like, the gold, right, or diamond, because we value it so much? Would we say like, this one little scrap of diamond, it's okay. Like, I got the main jewel next in my hand, so there's small little scrap.
Right.
If we've been to those people who fix gold and stuff, literally when they scrape out the gold, whatever jewelry, they take all the crap pieces and they put it together and melt it back. Because not even a single piece of gold is left untouched.
Right. It's so valuable.
It's not like, okay, I'm just going to scrap the jewelry and then, okay, use the main gold piece. That's not how it works. They take the scrap and they collect it back and then melt it back together and make another piece with it. Because every piece counts. So if you looked at your time that way, then you know what? Every single moment,
Every second has to count.
every second, it's so precious. If you looked at it that way, it will change your whole life perspective. It will change the way you do things, the way you move around the day, the way you look at every second. People, this is crazy to me. I'm waiting. Like I don't know how people wait for things.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh yeah, I'm waiting for 1 o'clock. So what are you doing? Yeah, I'm just roaming around. Waiting for 1 o'clock.
Or like when they go to the doctor's office, for
Yeah.
example.
Oh my goodness.
Or
Doctor's office. I have to wait. Doctor's office. So you're expected to wait for 2 hour. That's normal, right? But really, that's insane.
Yeah.
Right. What is time? That's a good question.
Yeah.
What is time?
I know you have a very interesting answer for this.
Oh, tell me. I don't know.
No, you go ahead. Okay, well, what is time?
I actually don't remember. What did I say?
Okay. You say that time is literally your life.
Oh, that's true. That's
you
true.
You are your hours. You are your.
Oh, thank you for reminding me.
Your seconds.
So I actually started off the show today with that, right?
Yeah.
So time is your life. Like what is, your life? What is it? What it is the actions and things you do. When is it? That's the time.
Yeah.
Right. So time, place. Your time space continuum. Right. So this is your life. Time is your life.
Yeah.
Right. So making the most
how
of it
how
in
do
a
people
second.
actually make the most of their time? Because I think people are just not aware of, like, first of all, it's important that you went over how valuable time is.
Right.
Giving the example with the gold and the diamond.
Right.
Your health bar.
Right.
Once you know that, how do you actually make the most of it?
How
do people waste their
time? And look, I have to share this with you, and I think I shared this in another episode, right? About you really know how, because it's important. Because I think if you don't get this first point across clearly, everything else we say afterwards, it's not going to be as important.
Right.
So, there was a study done by the famous researcher who studies cancer patients, right? And I think I shared this in the show. I forget which episode, but to me that's mind-boggling. So, this researcher, Dr. Irvin Yalom, he studies cancer patients, and something interesting he found with people who are terminally ill. They've been diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. They have very little time left in their life, given 3 months, 6 months. What he found is that these people, they value every single minute that you have. Imagine that, God forbid, but imagine that you were given 3 months to live. You said you've been given 6 months to live, right? If you were given that timeline, you would make every second count. You would be in the hospital bed and you would make the phone calls. You would watch what you wanted to watch. You would make every single count.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is,
I think we look at our lives as that, we have 50, 60 years to go.
Yeah.
And we look at that as a very long time.
Yeah.
And we don't value that when you say like you have 3 months to live,
right.
then it becomes real.
Right,
when you say you have like, next 24 hours you're gonna die, then it becomes real.
Right.
But when you say 50, 60 years,
right.
it seems like, oh, that's a long time.
Right.
It's just a long time.
Right.
Right. So that's actually an interesting thing that you brought up. So, so how do people actually be aware of the fact that they don't have that much time? That 50, 60
That's
years
true.
is not that long time.
Yeah, I mean, look, when we do the calculation, 10 years you're going to spend sleeping, another several years in the bathroom, another several years working. You look at it like you have very little time to live your life.
Yeah.
You're going to spend, another few hours, a few years waiting online.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are some, crazy stats.
Yeah.
And you look at something, look, people who made amazing things happen in life, from people who caused revolutions, people who did amazing changes, legacy builders in the history, they all had the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what they had in common?
Same amount of time.
24 hours.
Yeah.
But they did something with that 24 hours that you and I are not doing. That's the difference.
Yeah.
They literally had. Look,
I mean that's for sure. Like
yeah.
even like we're talking about people back in the days, but I think like even right now,
right.
the millionaire and the billionaire,
right?
Okay, and versus the the person that's living off welfare,
right?
Right. Every single person has 24 hours.
Right. There was a small little I think survey done. Now this has not been updated, so I don't know what the current status. But they say something like average American watches 6 hours of 4 to 6 hours of TV a day.
It's probably Netflix these days.
You know what? That's probably true, because you might say, oh yeah, I don't watch it on the weekdays, but how much are you watching on the weekends?
Yeah.
If you add all the up and the videos on Facebook and the and the thing
and on YouTube
and on
Instagram.
So if you add all them up, I think that's true. Yeah. I think average American.
I think a better thing to say is how many hours of entertainment does the average American consume?
Right.
And not just America, right. Anywhere in the world.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Regardless of where you're in the world.
Where you are, but it's 6 hours of television. That was back in the days, right? 6 hours a day. Then their managers, they watch maybe 3 hours, yeah. Right? And then the manager's VP watches maybe 2 hours. Then the company's chairman and the CEO, they're watching maybe 1 hour. Even that 1 hour they're watching while they're exercising in the morning, and they're watching things related to the industry.
Yeah.
Right. So people who are shaking and moving the world, they're not sitting around watching for that many hours.
Yeah.
It's the people on the bottom complaining about the people on top. Right? People on the bottom.
So the people on the top, they're actually working very hard.
Working very hard to just have different priorities. So people at the bottom who are slaving away for the top, they're the one who are consuming. Look, entertainment.
But at the same time, what would you say about the person, who works full time? Okay, let's say in a warehouse,
right.
Or a very labor intensive job, or maybe he might even work overtime.
Right.
Even on the weekends.
Right.
He's working hard. He's not watching 6 hours of television.
I'm sure there are some people that are working very hard. Absolutely. I mean, no doubt about it. But one thing to realize that cheap entertainment were always for the masses throughout history, from the Roman gladiators to current day Netflix. Cheap entertainment was always for the masses.
Current day Netflix bingers.
Really, entertainment has always been for the masses.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. The aristocrats used to enjoy a play.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would enjoy. The king would show up for the gladiator, whatever. But it was always for the masses to stay entertained.
Yeah.
Storytellers used to be in the marketplaces, entertain the masses. It wasn't the king that would listen to storytellers. No, they would have poets who come in for special occasions, right? So that hasn't changed. People who change and shape the world.
I think
they're not consuming masses of entertainment.
One way to evaluate how successful you are,
right.
Or in the direction you're going with your life,
right.
Is how you spend your time. Because right now you might not be at the best position in your life,
right?
And you might say that I want to go here, but then let's say that you have a business idea, or you want to move up your company, whatever it might be, or you want to get an education,
right?
And you're saying all of these things,
right.
But you're spending 6 hours on Netflix binging. You're watching YouTube videos,
right?
As soon as you get back from work,
right.
Okay, you go on Facebook,
right?
Okay, and you just scroll through your newsfeed for hours and hours,
right?
Your action does not match up with what you're saying that you're going to do,
right?
So I think a good way to measure that, okay, are you actually going to the direction that you're going after,
right.
Is how you're doing your action,
right.
Day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute.
Right.
How are you actually living your
Right,
life?
and absolutely, and I'm not against show. I watch shows. I'm not against movies, whatnot. I'm not saying have fun, but I think is the balance that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
When your days on intense labor or just slaving away at a job and then just cheap entertainment at home, or cheap entertainment on the weekends, that you look just living your life. So some people working very hard. Some people work in finance. They're making something $500,000 or $250,000, and they just wait for the weekend to go in bars and just drink, and the next Saturday they're up until get up hungover at 2:00. Like that becomes a life cycle, and there's no progress beyond that.
Yeah.
No evolution, no growth in other aspects of life. Now they might be growing in their job and they're getting some promotions. They're fighting tooth and nail in the corporate world, but that's the extent of their success.
Yeah.
No time to build a family. No time to serve community. No time for spirituality.
Right.
It just doesn't happen.
Well, what do you say to people that do spend their time well?
Right.
But okay, let's put it a different way.
Yeah.
I think a specific example. What about people who say that, okay, I spend time with my family,
right?
But when they're actually with their family, they're usually on their phone pretty much the whole time.
Right. So, and that goes back to what we're talking about in tonight's show, which is about making every single minute count.
Yeah.
Really. So it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. And that's so played out, but this one actually makes sense. Look, it's not about the
like 5 minutes
right.
spent with
yeah.
your siblings,
right?
5 minutes spent with your siblings on having actual deep, meaningful conversation
right.
is better than spending 2 hours just scrolling through the phone.
I'll give you a classic example. So you want to build a good relationship at your work,
yeah,
with colleagues, right? Okay, very cool. That's a good goal to have. Everyone should be working towards building good relationship in their workplaces, in their companies, whatever. Very good. But the way you are doing it is after every 1 hour you get up from your office or get up from your cubicle and you're like just chatting about the football or saying 1-2 things about the weather, and you're doing this hour after hour with different people.
Yeah.
And what's happening is then you come back and like, oh man, 15 minutes went away, I gotta file this paper real quick, and then it becomes a whole wastage. Versus what if you would dedicate half an hour, and it was lunchtime, you see him going out for lunch, and his own colleagues like, hey, you're going to grab food outside, let's go together, and then you go, or if you're getting out the office together, you walk to the subway together, whatever, and you get to have some deep, meaningful conversation.
Yeah,
it's much more targeted, much more you build more
smarter.
Depth. It's much more smarter.
Yeah.
Because I know people who are spending hours just talking about, like, they stop in the middle of people, hey, how's that? Oh, and then a little bit of a conversation about, the weather, a little bit about...
It's inefficient.
Very inefficient. Now, you need to do that initially. No one's going to open up so deep, so fast.
Yeah.
Initially, you might need to do a little bit of that.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Okay, is it better to work smarter or work harder?
I would definitely say working smarter. I'm for efficiency first. But I think you can't skip out on the hard work, though.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't just be like, it can be a lazy smart.
Yeah.
You got to be efficient, but, with full effort.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people,
right.
kind of use the excuse that, I like to
work smarter.
Work smart.
No, it just means you're lazy. That's what you're just lazy, You're saying you work smarter, but you're not. You're actually just lazy.
I think no person in history
right.
has ever become successful
right.
by working smarter and
right.
not harder.
Right, right.
Every person in history has
right.
to work hard.
Right.
Any person that was successful in history.
And I think as we talk about this, people get this gut allergic reaction. I think most people, when they hear this kind of talk, they get kind of allergic reaction like, oh no, I'm taking fun out of my life. Oh no, making my life robotic. Matter of fact, I would say, people who work, who are making the most out of their time, they get most out of even vacations.
Yeah. Because
I know people who just ruin vacations because the way they what time they get up and what they do, how much time they just waiting for things, or it's just a lot of, you forget the easy moments in between.
Yeah.
So talking about these small moments in between, even things like, you get a small break, right? Or you're waiting for a train, you're waiting for a bus, or in the bus. Why don't you call up one of your old cousins and have a 5-10 minute conversation? That's efficient. You have to wait till I don't get to talk to my cousin. But let me maybe I got to call him. I got to find time on the weekend. No, that 10 minutes in when you are waiting for a bus and look, for scrolling through Facebook, cut that out and you can call. Have a meaningful conversation within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Combining things, right? Not just like, oh, I'm gonna go, we're gonna meet up and have like some, coffee or something. No, why don't you set up something, with your old friends and say, guys, let's go one day for, like I like snowboarding, so let's go one day for snowboarding, right? Much more intense sport, and you spend a whole day together. Then
so you get your like hanging out and like relaxing across the way. Also,
it's together.
You also exactly.
Yeah.
Like you get to spend time with your friends and build those connections.
Right, and then maybe you want to watch shows. Some you have some friends who like watching shows. Watch together, right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to combine things. That's making each moment count. You have to be able to combine things. And having things ready, right? So having plans ready. So what are you going to do? I say you're going to find the most value in your lag times. You don't understand the power of lag times. I call it lag time. The small 5 minutes, that 2 minutes, the 3 minutes, the 10 minutes there at the doctor's office, waiting for your coffee. Waiting
for the bus.
Waiting for the bus. Subway. Even while you sit and I can't tell you the amount of lag times. Lag times is defined for me anything more than a minute.
Anytime. A lot of times, like at work, people have a lot of lag time. After they get done with their work, they usually have literally 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Or in between, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and they spend that time, either just scrolling. Again, like people are on their phones all the time, just scrolling through Facebook, doing nothing, there's so much lag time, that you talk about.
Yeah, look, you think about it. Just that 4 minutes of lag time that you're gonna find, 2 in a day. That's 8 minutes. Take that in a week, the 7 times 8. Or 10 minutes.
So how should people actually spend that time though?
Good. So let me give you some practical, really off the bat, just few steps. Number one, you have to be able to have defined areas of your life. And I keep going back to this because we did a whole show on this, right?
Yeah.
It's very important because if you don't have that, you're not going to be able to figure out what you're going to do with the lag time.
Yeah.
Because you're so clear about what you got to do, right? You're clear about, okay, I have these areas and these are my goals in my life. Right, so I have my career, I have my body, I have my spirituality, I have my finance, I have my family. Yeah, all these areas defined. Then you have clearly what you're trying to achieve in these areas, and then you already have action items.
You'll never get bored. You'll always have something to do.
You have action items, right? So number one, figure out all the action items for each of your area of your life, right? Number two, once you have that, then you need to be able to be, preemptively, proactively. Figure out your lag times. So tomorrow is Tuesday, right? So I'm already thinking in my head, and it's actually not my head. From Sunday, I know what my lag times are. I'm going to go to work 7:30 in the morning. Okay, I'm going to be in the train for an hour and 10 minutes. Lag time. I know that I'm going to be walking from my house to the train station. 5-minute lag time.
Yeah.
Walking from the train station to my office building. 10 minutes lag time. I only have this lag time. In between, I'm going to be walking from my office to maybe get lunch downstairs. That's a 5-minute lag time.
Yeah.
People are like, no, what do you mean? I just wait for the elevator. Or people listen to songs. Now, a lot of people listen to music. That's how people might spend their lag time. Look, if you're into music, that's you. But I'm saying, how would you want to expand that? So like all these I just mentioned, 5, 10, 5, 10. Add this up, I could finish an audiobook. I can finish an audiobook in less than 2 days.
For sure.
For 2 days. All these lag time, I could make few phone calls. I could reply to few text messages. I could reply to emails. Avoid the lag times.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How many audiobooks have you finished in the last 1 month?
Oh, yeah. I mean, last 1 month, maybe like 8 or 10.
So he finished 8 or 10 books in the last 30 days.
That's because I recently changed my job and now I'm actually taking a train. Before I used to work very close by my house and I used to drive to work 10 to 15 minutes. So I didn't have that much lag time. Now I have a lot of lag time because I'm on the train. So instead of watching people,
so if you take the train,
right,
or you take the bus, and your commute is 45
or
minutes,
you drive, or people drive. I'm sure people here watching, they live in other states. And
as long as your commute is long,
yeah.
Okay, you could finish 8 to 10 books just like this guy.
Right. No, some people trust me. I'm very little. Some people finishing 20, 30 books, per month. That's normal. Average American reads about 2 books, per month. And so
I don't know how accurate that is.
Well, I read that somewhere. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody can Google check me here. But that's
not everything Google is true either.
but my point is, a lot of lag time.
Yeah.
So, and I actually have lag time. Before I was pretty efficient too. 15 minutes I had, right? So I had 15 minutes in between my drive. This is my old job. From my house to my old job, driving there. From my garage to my workplace
I
garage.
remember I used to take phone calls at that time.
Yes. I used to actually prepare the phone calls beforehand. So it's not like I'm gonna, because what happens if I take the phone call any other time? What's gonna happen is I am, say I'm gonna call you on a Saturday this time. I have to take out the time. I sit down. Then you get in that mood. Then you talk. Then it's like a rehearsing that talk for like another 2-3 minutes. All those add up.
Yeah.
So what I used to do instead is get in my car and say, look, call me at 9:30 when I'm getting out of my office. So I know I have that 15 minutes. So the conversation will end in the 15 minutes. It's already made. So already pre-planned. It's not like I'm just dozing out on the
I know, because he told me the same thing. He's like, call me at this time. I'm going to be driving.
So it's true. Because you get the work done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So you have to plan for your lag time. So have that bigger goal on the action plan. Find when your lag times are, then plan for your lag time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have actual plan for your lag time. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometime, do I want to adjust?
I think like the word that you just said, adjusting.
Right.
A lot of times, like in your day, you have things planned out.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, something gets canceled.
Yes.
And then you have that lag time.
Yes.
And people usually sit there bored, doing nothing at
Yes.
that time.
Yes.
But you have to adjust.
Right.
Things that you have like planned for the the following day. Okay, move those things up. Okay, get them done.
Right. No, you have to have things ready. It's funny, right? Sometimes, when I put up Facebook status or something on Facebook, people like message me right after. It happens all the time. When I put a message on Facebook, people message me right away. Like they think I'm active on Facebook. I'm not. Like when do I write my status? I might be sitting on train and writing it and leave it there and I schedule it.
Yeah.
It's not like I when I'm posting it. Things can be scheduled. Your emails can be scheduled. You know that, like, if you need to send out an email on Thursday to somebody, you could actually make the email, and there's actually, I haven't used it yet, but I heard the extensions, and you could actually schedule the email on Google, to be sent out. So there are a lot of things.
But there's so many ways to be efficient.
Absolutely,
sure,
absolutely.
Well, do you think like at the same time, okay, people sometimes spend too much time planning and like trying to be efficient,
right,
and the actual work doesn't get done.
No, absolutely. You have to be able to get actual work done. So
I think the efficiency, like it's slowly, as you guys are working,
it's gonna get better.
It's slowly
gonna get better.
Yeah.
Before I did spend a lot of time actual planning, and then it was less efficiency. But the more you do it, you're gonna find that you're getting better. So now, for example, I have to go do a workshop in whatever, New Jersey or some different state. I actually pre-planned this. Why? Because I want to meet up with some friends. I want to meet up with some people. I want to try some. I actually beforehand I make all those adjustments and plans. Right. This, like if someone says, hey, I gotta talk to you, I say, look, come with me to an event.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be driving there for 1 hour. Just come along.
Yeah.
It's about building efficiency. That's how you make the most of every moment that you have, every minute that you have. You have to be able to consolidate. Look, when I said find the action plan for each area of your life, find which one.
Guys, if you're finding this helpful, by the way, okay, please drop a like on the video. Really appreciate that, and also share it with your friends. Anybody that one of your friends, if they could benefit from this, share it on your timeline so they can see it, or tag them in the comments.
Sure,
Really appreciate that.
Tag somebody who you think will benefit from this. What's very important is that when you define each area of your life, right, and what are you gonna do for those areas, find what's the most important in those areas. So if you said your physical health, right, and I was give the example, you could go running in the morning, you could go to gym, you could get a personal trainer, you could do a 10-minute workout at home, you could do videos. There are a lot of things you could be doing. Find which one is the most efficient one.
Yeah.
Which one gets the most bang for your buck. So if I'm gonna go visit my if I'm gonna go visit my sister, for example, right, and I have a niece and nephews there, I'm not gonna just sit there and be like, okay, I'm here, I guess, enjoying time with the family. No, I'm gonna go into my niece's room. I'm gonna start asking her questions. I'm gonna start getting engaged in some activity. I'm not gonna sit there like, I guess I'm here, so I'm spending time with family, because I'm not doing anything. I'm just spending my butt on the sofa. That's what I'm doing. It's not actual efficiency.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not getting people like, no, wait a minute, but you're not enjoying. I am enjoying. When I get engaged, with my nieces and nephews, and really, they're doing an activity with them, or tell them, let's go. I'm gonna take you guys out somewhere. And then while I'm driving, I'm not like, oh, I'm going to take you out to Chuck E. Cheese. So, okay, guys, let's just drive to Chuck E. Cheese. No, I'm talking and I'm getting really in depth as I'm driving.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not gonna be like just, okay, guys, okay, here now.
I think
half an hour.
we can probably do an episode on actually like how to create those like meaningful engagements.
Right.
And
Oh,
actually,
sure, that could be a whole episode itself.
Because people like a lot of the times they don't know what to talk about.
Right.
And they just talk about like, oh, how is school?
Right.
School is good.
Right.
Okay. That's it. The conversation ends.
Right.
Oh, how's work? Work is good. That's it. So it doesn't go beyond that.
And that's for kids, right? Even for adults. And like coworker, I gave example, right? How do you build that depth as quickly as possible?
Yeah.
There's ways of building depth with people very quick. I mean, that's the whole episode itself. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So building depth with people as quickly as possible. But anyways, all the areas of your life, building the efficiency, right? So having things pre-planned. Like, you know what? You could write draft of an email while you're waiting for your doctor.
Yeah.
No, why you have to go home and then or you have to? I mean, and then but about the email though, a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm being efficient, so I check my email every 2 hours." But that's also draining. Or check your messages every half an hour or every half an hour, every 5 minutes, right? That's not efficient. Why isn't that efficient? Because you're draining your emotional energy every 5 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Especially, I think like if you have a like okay schedule, like it's very chilled out.
Right.
I think it's like it's possible, but especially if you have like a rough schedule.
Right.
And we recommend that you fill up your schedule with things that are meaningful to you.
Right.
Don't have this entire episode is about making the most out of your time.
Right.
And when you have that though, like checking your phone every 5 minutes,
it's not efficient. It drains you. If you're going through, we keep mentioning this in many other episodes. But if studies show, if you spend an hour on social media, it actually drains you emotionally.
Right.
Because no, I'm not saying don't do it.
It's almost like as if you're putting the physical work for 1 hour. Like you have that for your emotions.
Imagine,
so emotionally, you're gonna be
Imagine
tired.
you go out with friends for 1 hour, or you go out for coffee for 1 hour. Would that drain you emotionally? Yeah, it will be fun, but it will drain you emotionally.
Yeah.
So don't expect they're going to be going through everybody's life and taking pictures. They're not going to drain you. It does drain you. So make sure you do it in chunks. So for emails, for example, there are a lot of theories on this. But my personal, the one we follow is that I try to check email several times a day, but not not as it comes. I'm not. Personally, for me, it doesn't work too well.
And for me, dude, it's like what you said about like drafting up emails.
Yeah.
I'm very big on that. Like right now, I probably have like 10, 15 emails drafted up.
Right.
I mean, a lot of the things are for business purposes.
Right.
But again, like I draft up those emails.
Right.
Just so that it's just more efficient.
Right.
You
Right.
can do
right.
it that way.
Yeah. I mean, so that's definitely something you could do. Even you say I came from work, or whatever, and I'm just sitting on my sofa and flipping through channels or just watching the show. That's not an efficient way of relaxing.
Yeah.
Go put on a video for yoga, right? I'm serious. Instead of sitting on a sofa, go put on a video. And I did this 3 times. Like I was just feeling lethargic. I was like, oh man, I'm kind of tired. And then breathing, huffing and puffing. Then I'm like, man, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Right? Then the application that we have, and just put it on, 10 minutes yoga, boom, and I just did that. I feel, me sitting on my sofa for half an hour. What would have gotten me? I got that within 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Right? Now, sometimes you're right. Sometimes I do go on drives and I don't listen to anything. I don't look at anything because I'm brainstorming. But if you're gonna do that, you better have a concrete plan what you're brainstorming. So I told you today, right? I got at my work. What time? What time did I text you? I think it was like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
8 o'clock. I got out of my work, and I told him that what's the topic for tonight? I want to brainstorm. So in the train today, there was out of that 1 hour train ride, half an hour I was not listening to my audiobook, and I was not 15 minutes. I forgot how long it was, or I was not drafting on emails like that. I was just sitting and just thinking.
Yeah.
But I had a very specific focus what I was thinking. Most people want to say, yeah, I'm going to go for a drive and think, or I'm going to just sit and just think. They think about 10,000 things. They're lamenting over their past. That's not brainstorming. Brainstorming means you have a concrete, achievable goal.
Yeah.
My concrete, achievable goal was.
I think that might be like difficult for some people. Okay?
It is though.
I think like something more easier might be just to be mindful. I think that's a very efficient way of spending lag time as well.
Right.
Just thinking about what are the things that happened today. Just be reflecting and being mindful.
But I think for some people writing down helps maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So
writing down, or just thinking about it in your head, or if you're gonna record it, however you want to do it.
Yeah. So the point being is find those golden lag times, and have all these things pre-planned to achieve in those lag times.
Yeah.
And then, whatever you're doing, ask yourself, is this the best way to achieve the goal that I want? If you're sitting down and chilling and huffing and puffing, is this the best way to relax? If you're on vacation and you are, or even dinner, is this the best way to connect with the family? Can I add something to my conversation? Always ask yourself the question, how can I do this more? How can I get more out of this moment? I think that's the best question. How can I get most out of this moment?
Yeah.
Just ask, even if you're having fun. So, and Jad knows this, right? Even if I watch TV shows or movies, he knows this very well. I don't watch anything below, IMDb 7 or Rotten Tomatoes.
He's very religious about this.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm like, look, I only have a certain amount of time to watch shows or movies, whatever. I'm not gonna watch crappy stuff.
Yeah.
Someone said, no, sometimes golden stuff comes in crappy stuff. I don't care. There's some. If it's really good, I'm sure other people will talk about it, right? And so I'm gonna watch that. I'm not gonna watch a show to find out.
The point is, he makes his chilling even efficient.
Right. I'm not gonna wait till find out if it's actually a good movie.
Right.
I'm gonna find out if it was good already. People said it was good. And sometimes even that doesn't work out, but at least it was a good try, right? So my point is, ask yourself, how can I make most out of this, right? And even for me, as in my faith and as a prayer, I put full concentration in my prayer, right? So making the most. If I'm attending religious services, making the most in that moment. Instead of complaining about how long the service is or whatever else, who's here, focusing on what I can get the most out of this.
All right. For
so
sure.
How can I do what I'm doing right now? How can I make the most out of right now? Ask yourself this question every moment, even when you're relaxing and chilling. Right? So I hope that.
I think this is great. If you guys benefited from the video, please let us know. Feel free to message myself or Hassan. We love to hear feedback
Absolutely.
from you guys. The greatest. I think really when I get a message from one of you guys saying that you guys watched the show and you benefited somehow.
Absolutely.
That is what juices us.
Right.
to keep going. This is episode 18.
Absolutely.
Can't believe it, man.
Episode 18. Wow.
So
and we're here for a long term.
Yeah, for sure.
And I hope you can continue to make us part of your life every Monday, 10 p.m. I'm done for tonight.
All right, sounds good. Until next week, we're gonna have another exciting episode for you. Tanya said very beneficial. Thank you. If you found this beneficial, if you could please share the video, drop a like. That's the best way that you can also help us. And I'll see you guys next week.
All right, guys. Good night.
Any lasting words?
No, make the most. Ask yourself this question every moment. How can I make the most of this moment right now?
All right, that's your homework. Ask that question.
Keep that question on your phone or on your wallet. How can I make the most of right now?
All right.
And ask yourself this question at work. Ask yourself a question while you're cooking. Ask yourself this question while you are traveling, waiting for the doctors, whatever it is.
All right, sounds good. And until next time, guys. Okay, please join us next Monday at 10 o'clock. I'll see you
Good
guys
night.
then. Bye-bye.